Que pasa YouTube? 6 Hacks here. Finally have for you guys the team builder for week number 8 of WBE. So yeah, apologize that this is going to be uploaded late. Week 9 though will still be going up this Saturday, so yeah, don't worry about that. But Patty and I weren't able to play like Thursday and Friday, I think, because that weekend he went to Evo and I just wasn't able to play on Thursday when we had originally scheduled because I had something come up. So he wasn't able to play Friday through Sunday, and then I had something else come up yesterday, so we're playing today on Tuesday, recording this like 40 minutes before we're about to play. I'm really nervous, mainly for the fact that I don't want to lose 3 matches in a row, and I know Patty's been putting in a lot of work this season already, so hopefully we can come out on top this week. If you guys do enjoy the builder, hit that thumbs up button down below. Much like last time, I apologize that this will not have the fancy layout, just because it's already uploaded so late, so I don't want to use the extra time and have this up super late on Tuesday when I can just have it up around, like, I'm gonna try and have it up right after we do our battle, so hopefully before like 7 or something, and not like 9 if I were to do the graphics and stuff. And then hopefully the battle itself will be going up tomorrow. Honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna live comment. I've just kind of been in the slumps lately, not just because of our 2 recent losses, but just IRL stuff too. It's just, I don't know, I don't think I'll have the energy to do a live battle, so I'm gonna try to. It depends how I feel after I finish this. Normally recording does put me in a better mood, so if I'm feeling it, then I'll do a live comm. If not, then I apologize. But yeah, let's take a look at our team matchup here. So Patty's team is pretty terrifying, not gonna lie. Easily the biggest threats going into this game are going to be Landers and Primeape. Primeape, I almost 100% expect to be choiced in some sort of way, just because it can U-turn out on my answers to it and wear them down. And then Landers, I fully expect to be a Z-move set, whether it be Double Dance or Rock Polish Swords Dance. Not Rock Polish Swords Dance, Rock Polish Stealth Rocks, or I guess Swords Dance Stealth Rocks, I'm not sure. But Edgequake, Ground DMZ, Double Dance can basically just plow through my team, so I need to be very, very careful with that. Rabombi is also a little bit annoying, along with Alakazam, Mega Alakazam. Mega Alakazam is actually the current kill leader in the WBE right now. Luckily though, we have one of the best answers ever to Mega Alakazam, which is Alolan Muck. So a part of me is hoping that he won't bring Mega Alakazam, but if he does, I wouldn't be surprised. Rabombi is also kind of dealt with my my Alolan Muck, so Alolan Muck does have a lot of pressure going into this game. Druddigon, I fully expect to come to this game with Rough Skin Rocky Helmet for my Mega Lopunny. I'm not sure if you would want to bring Incineroar or Ferrothorn, just because we have double fighting types, and now we have Moltres, which also pressures Ferrothorn, and Moltres can be like Z Hurricane, which blows back Incineroar. So those 2 are kind of up in the air on whether or not they're going to come. Golbat, I could see coming to this game. That can also act as a check to our Mega Lopunny, so I have to be very careful with that. Then Seismitoad and Raichu, much like Ferrothorn and Incineroar, are kind of up in the air on whether or not they are going to come. I'm a little bit concerned about Raichu, but it shouldn't be the worst thing ever, so we'll see how things go. But I think with that being said, let's take a look at our first team member here. So starting off our squad, we have Lacey Evans, good old Mega Lopunny. As much as I want to run Adamant in this match, I can't, just because if he doesn't feel the need to run any type of bulk on Rabombi, I think he's ran Focus Sash Rabombi before a few times, so if he does just run max speed, max special attack, then it's in my best interest to run Jolly as opposed to Adamant, which really sucks because, for those of you who don't know, Rabombi's ability basically makes it to where Fake Out does not flinch it, unfortunately. So while Fake Out would still go first because of the priority, it's not gonna get the initial flinch that it would typically get because of Rabombi's ability. So that's actually really unfortunate, which it's just more merit to have to run Jolly as opposed to Adam. And we do lose a little bit of power, but it shouldn't be that drastic, and we should still be able to pretty much smack any type of offense that he does want to bring to this game. And then we have Return with Drain Punch. Drain Punch over something like High Jump Kick, just because gaining back the recovery is going to be a little bit nice. Plus, I don't have to worry about potentially missing High Jump Kick, because I'm going to want Mega Lopunny to do as much damage as possible throughout this entire match. and I'm gonna need it to do that reliably and not have to worry about missing a high jump kick if I put myself in that scenario. Return still does so much damage to absolutely everything, and then Drain Punch still smacks Incineroar and Ferrothorn for pretty respectable damage. So yeah, the rest of our EVs 84 and 2 HP just because they had nowhere else to go. Really, that's it. So yeah, hopefully Mega Lopunny can do Mega Lopunny things and put in a little bit of work. Our next team member here is going to be the Miz, aka Komodo, making his debut for the Durham Druddigons. Now, Komodo in this matchup is actually really nice. The main reason why I would rather have a specially offensive variant as opposed to physically offensive is because he does have two very solid intimidators in Landorus and Incineroar. I 100% expect Landorus. I could see him bringing Incineroar, so there's not much merit to me running a physical Komodo in this match, even though it would hit a little bit stronger. Special along with the Flamethrower and Clanging Scale still basically hits the entirety of his team, and as a stealth rocker, this thing is absolutely amazing because I can rock up on Incineroar just about all the time. I can set up on Ferrothorn all the time. Like, the thing about the Bulletproof 2, as an ability, it blocks Gyro Ball from Ferrothorn. So I'm not really sure how he's gonna try and deal with my Komodo if I were to bring it. Well, obviously I'm gonna bring it, but if he were to expect it, I don't know how he would deal with it. I'm supposing he would have something like maybe Thunder Wave or Leech Seed to chip me down. So I do have to be a little bit careful with that because Flamethrower does not quite one-shot the Ferrothorn, but it still lets it put in a whole lot of work. Something else I was kind of wanting to maybe run on this is Substitute over Autotomize, but if he does want to bring Infiltrator Golbat, then I really don't want to have to deal with that. Autotomize, though, is really nice because late game, if I can set up the Autotomize, Komodo can actually sweep late game once his bulky mons and his offense have been chipped down. So I can get up rocks early game, try to break a little bit mid game, and then late game potentially come in, Autotomize, and sweep. The speed EVs are so we always outspeed Jolly, Choice Scarf, the Primate. So at +2, we should be guaranteed to outspeed the entirety of his team because the only other Scarfer that would outspeed us would be something like Scarf or Bombi, which I don't really expect him to bring Scarf or Bombi, so I'm not too concerned about that. But yeah, Z Clanging Scales is a free nuke on anything that is not Ferrothorn or Rabombi, both of which we hit with Flamethrower. So if both of those are gone, I just get to click Dragonium Z Clanging Scales and blow something all the way back, which is going to be amazing. Obviously, I cannot have the Komomonium Z because that is an Omni Boosting Z move. So that's why I have Dragonium as opposed to that. Omni Boosting is banned. Omni Boosting is broken, guys. It is legitimately broken and it should never be allowed in any type of league ever. So yeah, then we just put the rest in our HP. We didn't need max special attack just because with 220 we're still doing all the damage that we really need to do, and we can take like 1 or 2% less damage from certain hits here and there because of the extra HP investment. So yeah, hoping Komodo puts in work in its debut. So moving on to our next team member here, we have Jericho, aka Silvally. So I definitely felt that I was forced to bring either Moltres or Silvally flying because there is a good chance that Patty may want to try and bring Sticky Webs with Stealth Rocks, because Moltres being 4 times weak to rocks, it's going to lose half of its HP upon switching, so I'm going to be pressured in order to be able to defog with that. But as where with Silvally flying here, I can still avoid the Sticky Webs and not be dropped down to -1, and then I would only be taking 25% as opposed to 50%, which is going to make it a little bit easier for me to defog on his squad. So we are running enough speed for a Jolly max speed Landorus. I'm not sure if he would bring Jolly because Jolly Landorus outspeeds Timid Moltres. So if he does expect Moltres, I would assume he'd want to be careful on Landorus, but I guess he could still be safe and run Adamant on his Landorus, but I really don't want to take that chance. So I figured that if anything, it's still safer for me to creep a Jolly Landorus because the extra bit of bulk would be nice, but I'd rather be safe against Landorus just because of how big of a threat it is to my team. So Ice Beam obviously blows that back. Flamethrower is nice for the Ferrothorn. The only mon that we don't really do anything to is Incineroar, which really sucks, but we do have our double fighting types already, so it shouldn't be that big of an issue. Plus, I can always just parting shot out against Incineroar into my Komodo, which resists both of its stabs, and I can just go from there, I suppose. So yeah, defog for webs and hazards, parting shot for momentum and to help Komodo potentially set up late game, and then flamethrower and ice beam hits everything for neutral or super effective damage. That is not Incineroar. If he does not bring Incineroar, that would be absolutely amazing, but then again, his best answer for my Reuniclus, sorry, is Incineroar. So again, I don't know, man. It's really up in the air again. Like, if it comes, I'm not gonna be surprised. If it doesn't come, I guess I won't be surprised either. But we're just gonna have to see how things go. So moving on to our next team member, touched on this a little bit earlier. We have a Alolan Muck here rocking a nice super fat assault vest set. The main reason I wanted assault vest is because this makes my matchup against something like Quiver Dance, Farium Z, Rabombi a whole lot easier, while also still being able to deal with Mega Alakazam and hopefully get a knockoff on the Golbat off, because if I can get rid of the Eviolite on the Golbat, it's going to make it so much easier for me to deal with, and just getting rid of items in general in this match is going to be amazing. I was really flip-flopping between the last move on whether or not I wanted it to be Shadow Sneak or Pursuit, and literally right before I started recording this, I was like, I may kind of want to have Shadow Sneak more than Pursuit, just because if he doesn't bring Alakazam, there's not really much merit for me having Pursuit, and at least by having Shadow Sneak, I still have some other form of priority in case I need to get off some little bit of chip damage on the Rabombi, the Primeape, Raichu, or even the Landorus. Plus, there's always the 30% chance that that could also poison, so then they're taking the Shadow Sneak damage along with the 12, is it 12% or 6%? I think it's 12%. Well, from Poison Touch. So yeah, they're taking the damage from Poison Touch and then potentially the Shadow Sneak damage as well. So if we can get the Poison Touch poison off on some of his offense, that's going to make it so much better for our Mega Lopunny to be able to revenge kill them. So I really felt like Shadow Sneak had a little bit more merit than something like Pursuit. And as long as I have Muck around, the Alakazam shouldn't be doing much anyways. So even if he wants to try switching in and out, I can still just safely spam Knockoff. And then if it gets to the point where I'm going to predict him to switch into something like Landorus, I can Ice Punch it on the switch in, and that would do a lot of damage. And of course, Fire Punch is for the Ferrothorn. So while this again may not be able to touch the Incineroar, at least we have a chance to poison that as well because of the Poison Touch if it really comes down to it. So yeah, again, like Incineroar, kind of annoying. Would rather not see it, but if it comes, it is what it is. So moving on to our next team member here, our best answer to his Primeape potentially, that is going to be a very fat, physically defensive, supportive Reuniclus with the Rocky Helmet. The great thing about this set too is that I can just consistently chip down Primeape anytime he wants to come in and go for the U-turn, and along with Stealth Rocks and Rocky Helmet chip damage is going to be slowly wearing itself down to the point where I can easily revenge kill it with my Lopunny potentially, or Shadow Sneak can pick it off from our Alolan Muck. So between Psychic and Focus Blast, we hit everything, which is amazing. Thunder Wave was there as a last minute option because if he does bring Alakazam, I really don't think he's going to have Taunt on it, and I don't think Substitute really makes much sense either, sorry. So I can at least try and Thunder Wave Mega Alakazam, and that way it'll be easier for the rest of my team to outspeed it, because if I paralyze Alakazam, that means that my Komodo can outspeed it, that means that my Silvally can also outspeed it, and that also means that Lopunny can outspeed it, which is going to be amazing. Plus, Thunder Wave can also paralyze the Incineroar potentially, we can paralyze the Rabombi as well, even the Golbat if we need to, but I'd rather just kind of smack Golbat around with some Psychics if it comes down to it. We can also paralyze the Primeape if anything, and yeah, there's not really much Reuniclus is going to be doing in this match. I don't think that Calm Mind over Thunder Wave would have been beneficial, just because there's no saying if I would have been able to Calm Mind with the set. At least with Thunder Wave, we're still able to support the rest of our team by slowing down his offense for our offense, and that in itself is going to be amazing. I think if Incineroar is purely defensive, after he knocked off my Rocky Helmet, he never 2-hit KOs me. So that's going to be amazing because Focus Blast does do a really good amount of damage to Incineroar. I don't think it quite 2-hit KOs depending on exactly how bulky he is, but it's going to be doing a lot of damage, and I can just paralyze it too if it really comes down to it. So yeah, really happy I think with this set and the way that it turned out. There was quite a few sets that me and the front office were going back and forth, so yeah, ultimately I think this might be the best set that we could bring. And then our final team member, as I mentioned, Landorus is easily the biggest problem to our squad. That is why I want to dedicate at least one of my Pokemon to try and be able to deal with it, regardless of whether it's Swords Dances or Rock Polishes on one of my switches. The way this team is built, the only way that Landorus should be able to freely set up is on my Alolan Muck and on my Komodo. The only reason I would never switch out Alolan Muck on Landorus is if I knew that he had lost Ribombee and that he had lost Mega Alakazam, or if they're paralyzed, then I don't need to worry about them as much. But if the Landorus does set up, we have a very fat, speedy tank Toros here. Now, my front office gave me a lot of shit about this set, and I really hope, I really hope that this set can actually put in some work in this game here, because the idea behind the set is that we have enough speed to easily outspeed Landorus, whether it be Adamant or Jolly. So the way it works is that if he does bring in Landorus, and let's say he goes for Swords Dance, I bring this in after the Intimidate. If he doesn't want to go straight for a Z move, then I can go for the Ice Beam and get off a huge chunk of damage. Now, Protect is something I kind of want to keep in the back, because if I can Protect as he goes for a Z move, that basically means that Landorus is no longer a problem, but at the same time, I do want to be really aggressive against it, so Ice Beam does do about 50 to 60%, depending on if he's got the Yachi Berry or not. And if he goes for Swords Dance, I outspeed him, so I hit him first. But if he goes for a Rock Polish, I still live a Z Earthquake, and Ice Beam still does 50 to like 60%. So after that initial damage with Stealth Rocks, I always put him in range of where I can then bring in Lopunny to revenge kill him, and that in itself is going to be amazing. So while Toros may just die to the Landorus in order to weaken it, I still think that that's more than I really need Toros to do in a defensive role. Yeah, offensive Toros would have been really good in this match, but if he Rock Polishes as I switch this in, he destroys me with a Ground EMZ without the bulk and without the Intimidate drop. I mean, obviously if he went for Swords Dance, it wouldn't be as big of a problem because I outspeed him anyways, but I'm more concerned about a Rock Polish Landorus than I am of a Swords Dance Landorus. So at least this set can still live the Z, I can Ice Beam him, or I guess I could also Toxic if I really want to. But Ice Beam will just about always be the move that I go for. And then with Protect, even if I show him Protect, then I will be able to slowly gain back recovery because of it. So I can always try to Protect every other turn to gain back HP, and then that also is going to work in conjunction with Toxic. Toxic is really nice in case he does bring something like the Seismitoad. I can also Toxic the Incineroar if it really comes down to it. Body Slam obviously will not paralyze Ribombee, but it still does do a really good chunk of damage, so I'm not worried about that. The nice thing about paralysis, the nice thing about Body Slam too, is that I can even paralyze things. So if it comes down to it, I could try to paralyze the Golbat if anything. So that could be very handy. I could even, I guess I could try to paralyze Landorus, but again, I'm just going to be Ice Beaming Landorus if anything. So yeah, I don't expect something like a Scarf Landorus. That in my opinion wouldn't make much sense. I definitely feel like Setup is what is the most scary variant of Landorus that could come to this game. But yeah, that is going to be our squad for this week, guys. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. Should be playing Patty here in about 20 minutes. And I don't know, again, I don't know if I'll do live comm, I don't know if I'll do post comm. I guess I'll put some text on the screen letting you guys know, which I did. And just, yeah, either way, the battle will be up tomorrow, and hopefully we can get a W. So with that being said, I will see y'all tomorrow. Later, everybody.